I will say this. I mean, there's probably a little bit of a difference between people who are working a lead from like mortgage protection or final expense versus someone who maybe gotten a referral. However, you've got to keep moving forward, and you can't buy these lame, responses like we got to think about it, because that's a complete stall. It's designed to end the conversation and get you out of the home. It's not like, okay, how do we start the plan? Okay, we're gonna look at our numbers, and you're gonna come back with the proposal. Great. Our follow-up meeting is then. Yes, that's going in a different direction than someone who just says, well, we want to think about it. We'll get back to you. Do you have a card?
Yeah.
Do you have a card?
Yes.
Can you send me your contact info? Mm-hmm. We'll call you. We're definitely going to call. I know other people say this to you, but we're definitely going to call you.
Right. Hey guys, welcome back to the Life Insurance Academy podcast. We have a special treat for you. If you're watching this one before the last one, then this is the prequel to the last episode. Is that right, Roger?
No, this is the sequel.
This is the sequel. Yes, we were doing a two-part series. Two-part series. However you want to view this is the second part of that series. And these are the top reasons why you may not be closing sales. Our first series we talked about, or the first episode, we talked about how sometimes we aren't prepared, and maybe that's why we're not closing. How sometimes we don't believe in what we're doing when we're selling these products, or we don't believe in the product. That was the second reason. Third reason, some people don't have a process, or they aren't committed to the process, and that's why they're not closing. And finally, they're assuming the wrong things. So if you haven't watched that episode, please go back to it. I think it will be helpful for you. And now we've got part 2 of this series.
So stop right here.
Yeah, stop.
Stop right here.
Yes.
Go back and watch.
Go back to the other one.
Then come back. Chris will be wearing the same hat.
I will be.
Yes.
I will be in the same shirt.
There you go. I love it, though. I love the shirts as well.
I think we all are, which is a little weird now that we drew attention to it. So this is part 2 of the top reasons why people are not closing. And really the first 4 that we talked about are really kind of
tell them
the front side.
Yeah.
And how you approach your business. We went to church there.
It really is. It's really all about the mindset side of it, and also everything you can do to be ready to sell, both mentally and I guess physically, with preparing and everything.
Yeah.
To get ready so you can be set up to win.
That's right. And now this one is really kind of a more nuts and bolts.
In the home.
This
is kind of in the home, on the phone. This is during the presentation. This is what you can do and what you need to accomplish in order to sell more.
Very good. Very good. So I know you are a process guy, and literally, this is the funny thing. When you watch Zach think, there are times when he looks like Doctor Strange looking at all the different options and all the universes. Adam's going to have a clip of that if he can't find it, where his head's going in all these different directions.
I don't think my head physically moves.
No, but your eyes do.
Do they really?
Yeah, you're going like, you can't see him, but yes, his eyes move when he's trying to figure out all the different options. So you pick, just for you, buddy, you get to pick the very first one that we're going to talk about today.
Well, the first one is making a connection, making a true connection.
Okay, so now we're in the home, or we're on the phone with our client, and now it's time to start. By making a true connection.
Yeah. So we believe in what we do. We believe in what we're selling. This is coming from the last episode. We have our process, so we know we're going to follow a process. We know we already have that practiced. We're prepared. We're rehearsed. This isn't our first time we're going to walk through this presentation.
Geez, don't get me fired up.
Right?
I'll start banging the table.
And side note to that, one of my best advices is doing that is record yourself and then watch yourself doing it.
We've had agents in this.
All the time. It's the best way to learn, because they're like, no, well, I need to go do a ride along because I need to watch you do it. I'm better watching somebody else do it. And I'm like, okay, well, record yourself and watch you. See how you like that?
That works.
It helps so much. It's awkward. It feels funny. Nobody really wants to do it, but if you do, I promise you'll get better at it.
Nobody likes to hear their own voice.
No, they don't.
No, I remember when I started, the role-playing exercise in front of other people was worse than being in a home. It was way worse than being at home, but that made you better in a home. standing up and
Yes.
doing a presentation
Yes.
in front of other folks is kind of weird.
Yeah. So to recap, we believe in what we're doing. We are prepared. We have everything ready to go that we need. We've rehearsed. We've practiced. We're ready to go, and we have no prior assumptions on anything moving into the home. We're going in with a clean slate, and we know this client. We already know the market. We know what we're going to believe. So those are all the things that we talked about in last episode that's going to prepare us for this one. Now, the first thing, like you said, is making a true connection. And that is so crucial because that true part is the difference maker. You can go in and make a connection. You can talk to them. You can chit chat. You can go through the motions. But do they really know that you're listening? How do they know you're listening?
What'd you say?
Huh?
What'd you just say?
Exactly. How do you know they're actually listening?
What? You got
We're
it.
children.
Well, you said it like a little chipmunk so fast, hiding behind that microphone. I didn't know what you said.
What'd you say?
What was that? I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
But making that true connection in the home and taking the time, and a true connection doesn't have to be 30 minutes, doesn't have to be 45 minutes. It can be 5 minutes, but it's actually listening, being interested, making eye contact, or if you're on the phone, listening for the tonality, sounding like you're somebody you want to talk to. Like, be a
Don't
person.
be weird. There's a good one. Stop being weird. You will close more sales.
Don't be.
Like, I know the person who's listening is like, I need to make eye contact. Must make eye contact. Bing! Like staring.
Oh, he is on another one.
Staring.
What did you have for lunch other than Jimmy John's?
Like staring through your soul. Like, yes, like that.
Or shaking like a Mack truck.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh my gosh. People in there and their kneecaps are jiggling around. It's just calm down a little bit,
Do you remember that
be a
one
normal
time
person.
you were coaching somebody to walk up to the door with some enthusiasm and to wave at the house?
Yes.
We won't say who it is.
No.
But what happened?
It was so awkward. It was
What happened?
I would say it was more of an agent who was kind of flat in their presentation, and I said, hey, you should
Low energy.
low energy. We'll say that's probably the best way to say it, is low in energy introvert. And I was like, man, you should have a little enthusiasm, let's turn it up a notch. And went up to the door and was like, hey, Mr. Jones. And I just drove away. I left him. I was like, he's not with us anymore, so I can say that. But I just left him at the door. I'm just kidding. I
Like
didn't.
over the top.
I was like, that's done.
Just be natural, guys. Be
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
Make a true connection. And you
Make a
can't
true
do that if
connection.
you're trying to be someone that you're not.
Right.
First of all, you got to be genuinely yourself, but you have to be genuinely interested in them, not just
Yes.
interested in your own sale.
Right.
So in order to make a true connection, you're trying to figure out what it is that they need, who they are, what's important to them, and you got to start asking some good questions.
One thing I do like, a great tip. We aren't going to go on forever about this, but a great tip that I really like that you give, Zach, is ask a follow-up question about what they just said.
Ooh, the best question you can ask is a follow-up question to the answer they gave.
Yeah.
You like that you positioned that way. Did you see how he
That's-
said
that's
it?
a-
Ooh.
That's 100, man. I believe in that so much because it forces you to listen to what they're saying, because you can't ask the follow-up question if you're not truly listening to what they're communicating with your body language, with your eye contact, with proving to them you're listening and interested in wanting to hear more. It's a cheat code, man.
Yeah, and I know talking about their work, their family, asking those follow-up questions really unlocks and opens the door to their level of engagement and enthusiasm as well.
You got to get to what they're all about and what their true need is.
And I'm gonna be
What
honest.
their real need, their internal need.
So, Roger, I see a picture back here of, looks like you climbing a mountain. So, did you climb a mountain?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me about how long you worked at GM? I've seen that happen. I've seen that happen.
100
You climbed the
times.
mountain. Well, that's cool. How long
Yeah.
did you work at GM?
Cool. Like,
Cool.
dude,
How many kids do you have?
if you're saying cool in
Three,
the
but
home, that's an
three.
automatic.
That's a
But I
response.
lost one of them 2 years ago. Okay, cool.
Yes.
I've literally
Yeah.
had people
You shouldn't ask
respond
that,
that
Roger.
way when other people are expressing that they've lost somebody because they're not waiting to
It's
hear the
automated
answer.
responses.
It's just
Yeah.
this weird, clearly you're not in there trying to connect with this person.
If you don't listen to any more of these that we go through in this podcast, this one alone will increase your sales because they will just like you, and you may not even know what you're talking about. They may not know what you're talking about, but they'll buy anyways because they like you.
on the phone, you need to be more intentional.
Oh, yes.
Because if you're not in the house where you can say, what's that picture?
Mm-hmm.
Or who are these people on the fireplace? Not the actual people sitting on the fireplace, but the photo that's sitting on there. Like when you don't have the ability to do that and you're just on the phone.
And they can't see you in your body language.
Yeah,
right?
you have to be super intentional about making a connection. And that comes with learning to ask good questions. And then, like Zach said, be ready to ask that follow-up question to the answer. Because that'll allow you to go deeper in the relationship. They'll realize that you're a real person who has genuine interest. It's not hard. You just have to be a normal human and be interested. Genuinely
interested.
That's it. It's not hard.
That's the end of this episode.
Don't be a weirdo.
I'm kidding. There's 3 more. Can you handle it? Can you handle it, listeners? Okay. Next one. Let's see what we got here.
The next one is you actually believing their BS.
Okay. So last time
you guys have the cheat screen.
We do.
I don't
We're
even know
actually
what's
watching
on
a Netflix movie right now.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen this episode.
And it's called No BS?
Change it. Yes. We talked about belief last time, but we were talking about believing in what we're doing and in what we're selling, how we're helping people, things like that. So the other part is the belief in what they're saying that may not be helpful.
The phoniness, the bogus information.
This is a tough one because we're saying BS.
What do you mean, on part of the client?
Yeah.
Is there a nicer way to say this?
Clients BS?
Deflections.
Smoke screens, deflections.
Smoke screens, deflections.
Ejection seats.
Objections.
Can you make him eject, Adam?
Any reason other than yes? That's what it is.
Yes.
And believing them to be true. When the client knows they're not even true. They're hoping you're believing it true. It's if they're speaking with more conviction about their objection than you are about why they need this, you're in a world of hurt.
That is
how many agents do we hear in their first 2 or 3 weeks? I've gone through all my leads. I didn't sell anything.
Yeah, by Tuesday.
How many did you present? 8. You literally presented 8 people who filled out a lead card and none of them purchased. Well, most of them had insurance, so they didn't need it. Most of them had insurance and they didn't need it, but they filled out a request looking for coverage. You sat with them and you're believing that they have coverage and they don't need it. Like, do you hear what you're saying?
Yeah.
None of this
they
makes
don't have
sense.
Any money.
Like, believe the first request. Why you believe in this?
That's the only thing you can believe.
Like, believe the first request that they,
So let's talk about some of these, or we can list off some of the BS things that we've heard. The simple is
you have like a BS meter for like how much BS this is. Like, is there a way we could put a meter up? Like, when someone says this, is that like a 2 on the BS scale?
Well, Adam doesn't have time.
Or 3 or 4.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
All right. What are some of these?
Now's not a good time.
Now's not a good time.
Now's not a good time. Where's that at? I don't know.
Well, it depends if it's Adam saying it or not. Love you, Adam, but it's that's one of the most common because that's your entry points. This is the phone call if you're trying to do a one-sit close on the phone. This is at the door. Now's not a good time. I already have this taken care of.
You know that's
Miss Betty. No,
that's
you
a
don't.
high one. I already have this taken care of because they're not saying insurance. They're not saying that. They're saying they don't
know
have
what
anything.
it is.
That to me, that says you don't have anything. So that's a high BS one. If you're getting
Or it says, I don't even know what you're here for.
right.
That's most.
You know what the worst thing is? Sometimes you actually have an appointment set, and then when you call back to do the appointment, like the other spouse answers, "What's this all about?" Oh, we don't need that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Like a little dog running away.
Yeah, the wife answered. They said they didn't need it. Next, I guess. I guess I'll just go home now. Oh, I am home. Sorry. Can I come up for dinner?
I already know all about the insurance. Can you just get to the prices?
Oh yeah, I already know about insurance.
Yep.
Yeah, I have insurance at work. We're good.
Yep. That's another big one.
Yeah, the BS meter.
You got to know it.
It's maxed out on all these. I mean, longer in the business, the more you believe that.
The BS meter maxes out on every one of them.
I can't afford it. Is the big one too.
I can't afford it. That's that's a big.
If
BS.
this is free,
Now, agents are probably confused at you saying that because that's the one that almost every new agent, and still even some of you veterans out there, you still believe that to be true.
which one I can't
It's
afford
not
it.
even with insurance. Anyone in sales. That's like one of the most common objections. Yeah, I can't afford it right now.
You can't afford
It's not
not
in
to
our
afford
budget.
it.
Mhm.
Right? It's
Yeah.
one of the biggest smoke screens ever.
Yeah, look around.
Well, it's the only one that takes it off of them and doesn't put it on you. They blame the money or the finances.
Yeah.
So they feel like they're getting away with it, and it's not hurting anybody's feelings. Nobody's going to say, Chris, what you're working with there ain't working for me.
Right.
Nobody says that.
Yeah.
Well, you're sitting in a brand new home. It's all decorated nice. There's a boat in the driveway. There's 2 cars. You realize the kids have a uniform on. They go to private school, and then you talk about their insurance, and then they say they can't afford it.
Oh, that's the reason why we're talking about this.
Someone is lying.
Right.
You're going to lose the showcase showdown.
Another one is I'm not feeling good right now. I don't know if you know this, but it's anytime the phone rings or the door knocks, people immediately get sick.
Now's not a great time. I'm not feeling great.
It's true.
Me neither.
I'm not feeling great because someone wants to talk to me about something I'm not prepared to talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those are all common smoke screens. The BS meter should go off for you.
You want the biggest one?
Yeah.
We need to think about it.
Right.
So if this was free and all you had to do was sign up, would it still take you 3 days and 3 prayers to get this one?
3 days and 3 prayers.
Or Hail Marys, full of grace.
Right. So, I want to think about it as one of the biggest, the biggest ones as well. That Adam, that meter is breaking right now.
If you're, well, I don't want to give solutions so much here because I think a couple of these other ones will address those.
Maybe do you?
All right. So our next one, right now we're at making a true connection.
Mm-hmm.
They believe the BS. Solving the actual problem.
Yes.
So you may not be closing because you're not solving the actual problem. What does that mean?
A reason why they're not closing is because they're not solving the problem.
Right.
Their real problem. Their problem.
The real problem.
And what's behind that is
maybe they're trying to solve their problem, not the client's problem.
Well, that could be one. Commission breath fits into that, obviously, because you're trying to solve your financial problem, right? Or whatever you're trying to do there. But the other one is there's so many agents that literally just go into homes and before they knock or call, they literally have 3 prices like sitting in their back pocket no matter what the situation is. This is the carrier and these are the 3 prices they present. You could almost have that laminated and show it to the
10,
client
15,
every
20.
time.
10, 15, 20.
It doesn't change. Star the one on
10,
top.
15, 20. Tattooed on my chest.
100, 150, 200K.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
It's just nonstop. It's every
Tattooed
time.
on my chest.
Or
How you think you wrote so much
You have a
business?
seed on your chest.
blinking. What? Like
Like deer in the headlights.
Oh, God.
I'm out.
But that's so true. Like you're going through the process and you don't care what they say. You don't care what they need. You don't care what they already have. You don't care sometimes what their health is or what carrier fits them the best. You're literally, your gun's
gonna
already
pitch them your
loaded.
3 preloaded options.
Every single time. And it's impossible to ask the true questions and for your client to feel comfortable that you're solving their real need if you have a cookie cutter need that you're pulling out every single time with the prices and solution to go along with it. It just doesn't work. It's not genuine. Those people get replaced all the time because there's no connection. They're not solving the problem.
I will say this. There's probably a little bit of a difference between people who are working a lead from like mortgage protection or final expense versus someone who maybe gotten a referral or is working a lead and realizing there's more money there. And now they're talking about using an IUL for like a retirement strategy and income strategy and retirement. Sometimes those take more than one call, more than one close because you're talking about significantly higher amounts of money. It's for a different purpose and it becomes more of an advisory role. So that's where it'll pivot a little bit for you guys that are listening because they're not all like this. Obviously, some of these bigger cases, annuities and IULs and debt-free life and tax-free retirement planning, it's not necessarily going to happen on the first call. However, you've got to keep moving forward, and you can't buy these lame, responses like we got to think about it because that's a complete stall. It's designed to end the conversation and get you out of the home. It's not like, okay, how do we start the plan? Okay, we're gonna look at our numbers, and you're gonna come back with the proposal. Great, our follow-up meeting is then. Yes, that's going in a different direction than someone who just says, well, we want to think about it, and we'll get back to you. Do you have a card?
Yeah.
Do you have a card?
Yes.
Can you send me your contact info? Mm-hmm. We'll call you. We're definitely going to call. I know other people say this to you, but we're definitely going to call you.
Right.
I 100% believe if you ask the right questions, then your client will tell you exactly, and you listen to them, they will tell you exactly what they need, and they will tell you exactly what they want to spend and why they want to do this.
And how to close it.
There will be times
They will
in a
close
home.
They'll tell you how to close
Yeah.
it. Like if you do this, this, and this, we can finish.
Yeah, there's you will be in a home, maybe, or on the phone with a client who's a final expense client, and if you're finding the real need, you may be able to write a mortgage protection product with that client. The reason I'm using quote fingers is because I think agents get in a trap where they think I'm a final expense agent or I'm a mortgage protection agent, and I sell those products when the reality is those are just social constructs, bro. Like, those are just marketing terms for the life insurance companies. That's it. Those are just marketing terms for
It's life
products.
insurance.
And if any of y'all got
that's life
offended and
insurance.
you felt like Chris was just talking about you, go back to the episode before this and be prepared for those different type of products. Practice how those selling techniques are going to be for MP, for a final expense, and understand the belief behind it, why those clients need it. Like all that mental preparation, do that for that as well.
Yes.
You'll be ready to go.
I mean, we've sat in homes where we've written large mortgage protection products for somebody who sent in a final expense lead.
I've written annuities on final expenses.
Yes, right, absolutely. Because you're doing the work of asking the questions to reveal the need,
Exactly.
to reveal it. So a lot of agents would walk in and write a $5,000 cremation plan.
Reveal it, not manufacture it.
100%.
Correct.
Reveal.
Uncover. Discover. Yeah.
Chris,
And the other reasons why you're using quote fingers is because you like using quote fingers.
I do like using quote fingers.
He's very animated
Spirit
today.
fingers and quote fingers. He loves it all.
Right. That's right. You get these things moving. Get out of the way. Please edit that. Thank you. And then he never edits.
He could fill out
No,
5 applications
edits.
at one time.
Both
No
hands. Okay.
That's something else. And Chris, this last one here, it makes me think of you all the time because again, I've seen you.
You think of me all the time.
No, I've
Apparently
seen
when he
That
reads
makes
this,
me feel happy and gross at the same time.
the golly.
especially on Sunday afternoons.
We're gonna have to bring back those applicants for a new co-host over here for sure.
That's right.
But I've seen you do this with so many different agents where agents freeze up and they literally just stop. This last one is just simply continuing to move forward.
They don't move forward.
Gold.
Oh my gosh.
Gold.
They fail to move forward when they should.
They get all the way down to the end and little freeze up like an old computer and just sit there.
Waiting for
And they're
permission.
waiting for permission to fill out an application or to go forward.
And
Would you ever say, Innocent, Roger, would you be okay if I started writing your information down to apply for this life insurance policy? Would you be okay with that?
Would I ever say that?
No. Would you be okay with saying that?
Yeah.
Would you? Would you ever say that?
the question is, says,
Would you ask that permission?
But I don't. It's not like even the way you said it, it wasn't a question.
Oh, really?
You're almost saying it like you're telling them, like,
I'm
is it
going to
okay if
do
I
it.
go ahead and start doing this? And you're already doing it while
Right.
you're saying it.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
So I need to
like,
find. I don't. It's not.
You
in
don't
my
even know
blood.
how to ask it right. It'd be like, so would it be okay if I start filling this out? Maybe because you want to apply? Because I can do that now, or you can think about it longer.
I would
Yes,
even
that
be
would be-
happy with that. Most of the agents,
We can't do it right.
most of the agents just sit there and it's just awkward. Like you get to the end and you close it and you sit there for 45 seconds to a minute, feels like 15 minutes. And then you just kind of look up and go, well, and then you're waiting for the next person to speak, but you haven't sent anything. And the next thing you hear out of their voice every single time is, well, we're going to go ahead and think about this for a few days. We'll get back to you on this. And it's all because of that dead air, because you froze up like a popsicle and you're not doing anything. You're not moving forward, even though the whole time you had the connection, they loved you, you know they need it, they know they need it, they want to buy it, we know they can afford it, and then you just stop.
Sometimes you don't even know if they love you or they know they
They have the
need it.
connection.
But if you just keep moving forward, you'll be shocked at how many times that will still close.
The thing is, you know
Like,
it's
like,
supposed to
I
happen.
see-
I closed and I didn't think they were going to
Every
close. That's
set-
because you kept moving forward.
Every set that you're doing a presentation, fill out the application on the phone or whether you're face to face. It doesn't matter.
You used to have to pay agents money for half filled out applications
yeah,
to
their
get them
AP
to
went
do
up.
it.
This was before EAP.
Right, and now their AP went up as a result of it.
Yeah.
So fill out the application, keep moving forward, and your tonality and your body language is communicating, I know what I'm doing. And they trust competent
And
people.
it communicates that they assume that you're moving forward because that's what you're there for.
And that's what they should do.
And that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what everyone else does because you're moving forward.
Yes.
So don't stop at the end and then ask for permission to proceed.
Right.
Just keep moving forward. Okay. If they really don't want it, they will stop you
That tip right there will make you thousands of dollars.
Thousands.
or get you kicked out.
And that's okay too.
I don't think
And
it'd get you
Chris,
kicked
you
out.
would say it this way: kicked out.
Yes. That's a good one. I like that.
I see you under the blanket. I see you.
I know you're there.
I know you're there. You just moved.
That's in reference, if you didn't see the other podcast, I don't remember which episode, to the gentleman who was hiding under a blanket when I was knocking on the door
On his couch.
in his recliner.
When you had
Fully
a follow-up
outstretched.
appointment.
Follow-up appointment, fully outstretched recliner in the sunroom with a blanket covering him, and the blanket's rising.
Well, you typically sleep with the
breathing.
blanket over your head too, right?
I see you in there, sir. You don't have to hide. It's okay. I'm your friend.
He was
You
playing
don't.
he was playing possum.
He was.
And then you went around the corner,
did.
pretended you were left, and
I
you
guess I'm leaving now.
snuck back up on him, and
That's
he was out
exactly-
from under the cover.
He was. I'm not interested anymore. I figured from the hiding and all.
and all.
I went on. I got a very limited amount of time riding with Chris, but one day I really remember us going to an appointment later at night.
Pretty tenacious.
This is unbelievable, and we're pulling up, and
This doesn't need to be in the podcast.
you sure?
Oh, you can go.
So we're pulling up, and it's got one of them curved windows in the front of the house, and it's like kind of in a field, so it's not like
We were told to come back.
we had an appointment. We were told to come back, and he goes. I mean, you can see them in the living room because as soon as you pull up, and this big old curved window is like
It
straight
looked like
through the
Home
house.
Alone when he's running the train and all that stuff of fake people in the house. Like there's movement all over the place. There's tons of people.
So
in
I'm
there.
sitting in the car, and I'm like, okay, we're getting ready to go in just a second. I think it was kind of cold. It's getting dark. He goes, knocks on the door.
Nothing.
He's gone for like 4 or 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, dang, it's appointment, like what's taking so long? Comes back to the car, and he's like breathing hard. They're in there. You can see them. He goes, they're not coming to the door. And then he goes, I'm gonna go knock again. And so I think we did like a circle or something, and then he goes and knocks again. And we waited, and he comes back to the car. And he just starts
Honking the horn.
honking the horn and holding it probably like 25 times. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Did they ever come out?
No,
Never
they
came
didn't.
out. Surprisingly.
You're honking the horn, and they never came
Yes.
out.
Yeah.
That happened to me once.
I don't
had to
think
honk the
I don't,
horn.
I don't
Did it?
think
They
they were
came out, and
interested.
I ended up getting a set
See,
and a
that's what
sale.
I figure if we can get in front of them.
Yeah, I approached a.
I didn't think you could hear me. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I didn't know if you were hearing impaired.
I didn't know if you could hear all 18 of those horn
I pulled up to this one house that was a big chain link fence, and they had a big sign, beware of dog. And I was
That's
like,
always
do
fun.
I go?
Right.
Like, am I going to get halfway to
You
this
have to
front
use the
door,
force on
and
that
like
one.
the Dobermans are coming around the corner, and I can't get back out? So
You always take a half-cocked clipboard.
I don't even know what that is.
And then you get the clipboard in your hand, and it's half-cocked, man. You're ready to
bonk a
backhand
nose.
that
Yeah.
dog if need be.
I mean, I honked that horn, and they came to the door, and then the guy was mad because I was honking the horn. I'm like, beware of dog sign. I don't want to get eaten.
Right.
And I said, I got your stuff. And he's like, what stuff? I go, is it okay? He goes, okay. And then,
Yeah.
so that was an interesting one. That was where his wife didn't want to come out.
This is
And
the
I
stuff we just
eventually
talk
got her
about.
out when I wrote the app on the front porch.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And she was like a nurse at downtown at the hospital. It was like a weird situation, but
Wow.
yeah, there's a lot of things you could have assumed wrong there, or a lot of ways that you could have stopped moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those things would have disrupted it and upended that sale. But
Hey,
keep
dude,
moving
that was
forward.
a great callback, by the way.
Yeah.
Get us back on track. I'm
Yeah.
impressed. Good
Yes.
work. So these were the final 4 reasons that you may not be closing, just as a reminder for you, that you're not making a true connection. Be a normal person and have a conversation. Ask good follow-up questions to the conversation. Solving their real problem, the actual problem. And that comes from asking good questions, too, about what's important to them, what they're trying to accomplish. And as far as like covering funeral costs, covering final expenses, covering a mortgage, legacy, loss of income from a spouse. I mean, there's endless opportunities there to be able to talk to them and find out what matters. Continuing to move. Oh, not that one yet. I'm sorry. Believing BS. We talked about that for a little bit.
Not believing BS.
Yeah. Do not believe BS. Do not believe BS. Yes. And then finally, continuing to move forward. You will write thousands and thousands of dollars of annualized premium if you can commit to doing the correct things. So this was a series on why you may not be closing. Hopefully it's valuable to you. If you have questions, reach out. We'd love to chat with you.
It was also a series on Chris becoming unglued.
Yes, a little bit. A little bit. You want to wrap us up?
Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. We will see you next time on the podcast.
Oh, man, I love that.
Yes, we will.